So, today's gonna be Grey Knights and Harlequins. And I forgot to start my camera before I started. FYI, this is the second mess up that I've done with this. The first mess up, I ended up deleting all the footage because I screwed up horribly in how to play the game, and here I am screwing up again by forgetting to start the camera. Thank God, all that's happened is deployment and Harlequins moving for the first turn. So, recap time. Round 1, Harlequins just moved. They were deployed here, and they moved. This one made a successful charge roll, got into here. This one has failed to be in the distance. I've already checked that this is not within 1 inch of him. So this one is there with a failed charge roll. And these guys are slowly moving up to get some shots because the distance was too far away because Grey Knights deployed a little bit farther back to make sure Harlequins, if they got first turn, would have a rough jump. So, now I'm going to move into actual movement of Grey Knights because, god damn it, I just completely screwed up. By the way, I'm playing Take Prisoners as the mission, which means they have to kill models within 1 inch of each other, but they have to make sure no other model is within 2 inches when they kill that model. So now we need to see how they're going to do this. This is as I was going, oh, what's the distance Grey Knights can move? Yeah, 6-inch movement kind of thing. Head to head. Keep his arm kind of there. He doesn't care that much. Alright, we got a flamer that can do some things. Flame on. And we'll keep actually these Grey Knights together to make sure that they don't have problems. And now, the thing... Oh, what's he gonna do? Yeah, he's actually going to declare charge into this, I think. Let's see here. Can he move? Alright. Yes, he can move in that distance, so he can walk around the back. So he's declaring a charge to go around the back. 4 inches. Going around. Make sure he gets his head in there. He's technically within 1 inch now. Alright. So at least did some reading on the rules, reading the Erotica designer commentary to verify this model can't do a pile-in of 3 inches because it failed the charge. But if this model kills this model somehow in melee, even though this model is didn't charge, so there's no way really he can kill this model without him punching. But somehow, if that were weird enough, he killed this model, he would still be able to 3-inch pile in and go that way. Because reasons. Now, movement's done. Psychic phase. The real power of Grey Knights. Alright, Cybolts. They can all choose one side. And I can choose one model to Cybolt. Let's see here. Or 2 models to Cybolt because Grey Knights. Alright. This model is indeed closer to this model. So he's going to do Cybolt right now, and he's... Obviously, that's the closest model, so... Cybolt. He gets to add 1 to his thing because of his So it ends up becoming a 10. Either way, it still suffers 1 mortal wound. And it's a 1 wound model. So it goes straight into injury roll. The model's out in the open. Does he want to spend a command point to try to re-roll that? No, well, it is a new phase. And that thing does have a Neuro disruptor, so you know what? Screw it. He's going to spend their 1 reroll for this phase and reroll that. Okay, it still ended up with just a flesh wound. And now I can cast Cybolt by another model. Alright. Flamer's going to cast Cybolt because this model's out in the open for him, and he wants the injury roll to be also easy. So Cybolt, knocks that guy over. But it becomes 11. You add 1, technically it's 12. So it takes D3 mortal wounds, whatever. It took 2 wounds. But you apply the first one, it goes through, and then you still do an injury roll. Man, that should have been the injury roll because that would have been great. Either way, dead. Psychic phase complete. Shooting phase, starting with Harlequins. Let's see here. Let's look at this guy. Oh, wrong model. I was looking at the data sheet for the model that just died. Oops. There we go. This guy. He's got a Neuro disruptor. He will fire into the Flamer because the Flamer is dangerous to everyone. So 1 shot. Not obscured. Just had to make sure this little bit didn't somehow obscured. So 3 to hit. Hits. Strength 4 versus toughness 4, so 4 to wound. Fails to wound. Harlequins will spend their reroll for this phase to reroll that. Gets the wound. It's AP -3, so he gets a 6-up save. Failed it. They're not going to spend a command point to reroll that. D3 damage. 2 damage. And this Flamer's probably going bye-bye. Flamer just went bye-bye. Now he's going to shoot that model. Obviously it's obscured. So 4 is to hit. That one's cocked. Alright, 3 hits. Strength 4 versus toughness 3, so 3's to wound. Whoo, that's 3 wounds for that model. 3 4-up saves for it. Failed 2 of them, so there's no... Well, they already spent their command point to reroll this phase, so there's nothing they could do. Damage 1, but still 1 for the injury roll. They have not spent their command point for this phase, so they're spending their final command point that they have to reroll this. Because he wanted that dead result to make it that if this model gets killed in melee, they can capture it. So there we are. Alright. He's fired. The one with the Neuro disruptor is now going to shoot at... And it's just going to shoot at him because it doesn't want to take too many penalties to its shot. It doesn't want the long range penalty. It's already got to take the injury. So 4 to hit. Hits. 4 to wound. Fails to wound. Technically, this guy can see like everyone. Because he technically can see this player, and that's the leader, he's going to decide instead to shoot this model. 4 shots. 4 is to hit because obscured. 2 hits. 3s to wound. 1 wound. 1 4-up save for the player. Saved. And it's going to shoot back at him. Distance. Ooh, long range and obscured. So, 5 to hit. Obviously, failed to hit. So, that's all shooting completed. We go into charged models, starting with Harlequins. So, that one, was that one a... No, that was just a regular player, no specialist. It's also the only one that's not as modeled. It's supposed to have a Harlequin's Kiss as its weapon. Also, they're playing as the Mosque that adds 1 to their attack characteristics when they charge. So this model has 5 attacks. It's actually going to put 3 on this guy, 2 on this guy. And we'll actually start with a 3 on that model. So 3s to hit. 3 hits. It's going to be strength 4, so 4s to wound. No wounds. Do they want to spend a command point to try to reroll that? There is some concern that that guy can survive. So they will spend their final command point, because it's a new phase, reroll one of these. Still failed. So they actually have to be concerned that that guy will punch and kill. And now 2 attacks on that guy. 3s to hit, 2 hits, 4s to wound. 1 wound at AP -1. So 4-up save for the Grey Knight. Saved. Now the Grey Knight that charged in. He could do a 3-inch consolidation, so he's going to kind of move like that. He is... he's the Zealot. So he's actually going to have 2 attacks from charging. 3s to hit. 1 hit. And he has a Force Halberd, which +1 to his strength, but because he's a Zealot, it adds another +1 to his strength, meaning he's now strength 6, so it's 2 to wound. It wounds. That Harlequin has its 4-up save. Failed it. Force Halberd is D3 damage. That is 2 damage. Injury roll. Dead and captured. So I'll just kind of place it over here to indicate that it's been captured. And now, 3-inch consolidation. And that was melee phase. Now we see, let's see here. Harlequins actually need to do a break test. Grey Knights don't need to do a break test. So Harlequins, 8. Their leader is 8. Well, no, they're all 8. So they're still on the board. But this one can fail their morale check. Oh, that's a massive fail. That's a 9. So, shaken. I say massive fail, but no, that's their only fail. Because if I had rolled a 5, it would be a pass. But either way, failed. So now we go on to round 2. Who has the initiative now? Same roll. Oh yeah, that's something that now that I didn't record properly, when I was rolling to see who had the greatest strategic advantage, about 3 times they rolled the exact same result. Like 5 and a 2. Not like just the number adding up. It was the same dice numbers. It was insane. There we go. Harlequins have the advantage. Have the initiative. Again. Well. These guys are within 2. So we're going to have this guy declare charge on him. He's just going to overwatch because he has clean line of sight, so why not? And it's 4 shots, so 6 is to hit. Nothing. Going in for the charge. 4, 9. Let's get over here a bit. Actually, no. There. Wants it so that way if this player declares a charge, he could be there and within 2 inches. So he's declaring a charge on this guy. Again, he's just going to overwatch because he's able to shoot at the model last time, so why not shoot again? Especially because 2 hits. 3s to wound. 2 wounds. 2 4-up invulns. Failed them both. Oh, right. Command points. Both teams are at 2 now because both teams still have their leader. Well, we'll see if this team continues to have their leader because they just failed. Injury roll. Because this is still the movement phase, Grey Knights is saying screw it. We're going to spend our command point of tactical reroll to reroll this injury roll. Still obscured, so it's still a flesh wound. But they wanted to try because they could have just killed another model. Charge distance, 12 inches. You can just go over terrain like it's nothing. Use Harlequins. Alright, these 2 are together, so they can't be captured just like that. Well, we'll see what happens in Psychic phase once that happens. Oh, god damn it. This model really just gets tapped as I try to move its things around. Screw it. There, if it falls over, she's just gonna rest on that. Now the Grey Knight's turn. And those 2 are already caught in melee. He's declaring a charge on this model because, hey, he could capture that model easily. 6 inches. In. This guy, he's actually going to declare charge on this. 10 inches. That's more than enough to get in. Now I should double check taking prisoners. Okay, if they're taken out of action whilst within 1 inch of any model, meaning if this guy kills this model in Psychic phase, it still counts. So we go on to Psychic phase. We're going to actually first start with this model declaring a Psychic test. Psybolt. Perils. Ooh. I forgot how peril... Wait. They'll spend a command point to re-roll that, and they don't want Perils of the Warp. That becomes a 3. They add 1. It becomes 4. And the value is 5, so it failed to manifest. They're still fine with that, because he can declare... Well, they don't really need... Well, he only has 2 attacks. Well, they already have 1 victory point. You know what? Hammer's going to declare a Psybolt. 6, that becomes 7. That's successful. causes a mortal wound, rolls an injury roll. That becomes a 6 because +1 from the flesh wound. That's dead. This model's still close enough that it's not captured, but now this model can be captured. So that's Psychic. And now we go on to shooting. Pew pew, I shoot the rocks because I can't shoot into melee. Just got practice my training of shooting perfectly. And now we go on to just melee, starting with charged models from Harlequins. So this player, oh, I don't think I've actually been able to successfully use that player because he's always dead. So I've never actually used his Harlequin's Embrace before. Ooh, he's going to have 6 attacks because he's Expert Fighter, and he charged. So Expert Fighter gave him +1 base, and then his Mosque gives him a +1 attack for charging. So he has 6 in total, so he'll do 3 and 3. So he'll do the 3 on this guy. Yep, 3's to wound, 3's to hit. 2 hits. The reason why this one is better, why I chose this one over Harlequin's Kiss is that it's AP -3 versus AP -1. So, it's Strength 4 versus Toughness 4, so 4's to wound. Snake Eyes. He'll spend 1 command point to reroll one of those. He knows that he can't spend any more command points for this initiative, or this phase. Okay, roll another one. But I was hoping to at least, take this guy out with that attack, and then this attack might kill that one, but unlikely now. 3 attacks on this model. All 3 hit. 4's to wound. Failed to wound. I mean, seriously, it was AP -3, and it just went, nope. Grey Knight's time that charged. He charged. He gets 2 attacks. 3's to hit. 1 hit. 2 to wound. Wounds. 4 up invuln. Failed it. Injury roll. Oh, D3 damage. 3 damage. Right, that is D3 damage, right? Yeah, it's force weapons, so yeah. They're all D3, so 3 damage. Dead. Captured, technically. Three-inch consolidation. Oh, boys. Let's just look at the Grey Knight status sheets now, since, yeah. Alright, we're starting with this guy. He has 1 attack, 3 to hit, hits, strength 4 versus toughness 3, so 3 to wound, wounds, 4 up invuln, failed again, D3 damage, 2 damage. Alright, just a flesh wound. Oh, just a flesh wound. Yeah, it's pretty bad shape. And now we do the Justicar. 2 attacks, 3's to hit. Right, not 2's to hit? Yep, 3's to hit, so 1 hit. Again, just a 4 sword, so 3 to wound, be a strength 4. Wounds, 4 up invuln. This time saved. Morale phase. Grey Knights don't care. Harlequins are spending their command point, their final command point, to make this guy automatically pass his nerve check. And their team is automatically broken because he's the only one with an injury. And now we go on to round 3. Grey Knights are at 2 command points. Harlequins are at 1. Harlequins can't really win, but you know what? we're still going to go because who knows? They might get lucky somehow. Grey Knights could just perils themselves to non-existence. Alright, Harlequin's turn. He could fall back. Do they have anything special if they fall back? Nope, Rising Crescendo and Flip Belt don't make it where they could just fall back and not care. He is going to stay there in melee because he can still shoot his pistol into melee. So Grey Knight's turn. He's going to declare charge. He's declaring a charge. That's gonna be crazy. Now we do psychic tests. Psychic time. We'll start with the Justicar and see if we perils and kill everything. 6, 7, nope. It just goes off, does mortal wound. They'll accept that because it's now 2 flesh wounds. And a hammer, we'll see if his psychic test kills everyone. It's 4 plus 1 because of Brotherhood of Psychers becomes a 5, which means now it's successful. Does a mortal wound. Whatever the result will be will cause 3 flesh wounds, which is still taken out of action. And taken out of action for whatever reason within 1 inch in this situation is captured. So Grey Knights have captured 3 models and only lost their flamer in the process. Grey Knights absolutely trounced Harlequins. Holy hell. Well, this time I actually did decently because the last time I played, which I completely scrapped that footage, I had forgotten about psychic tests. I completely missed the psychic phase because I barely play Grey Knights and never really play the psychic phase, so I forgot about it. And that was dumb for me, and also it was terrible because it really was. Without psychic tests, Harlequins wiped Grey Knights in 2 turns. And in this case, Grey Knights basically wiped Harlequins in 3 turns, but essentially 2 turns, because of having psychic phase. That's how important Grey Knight's psychic ability is. Their melee is but it's their psychic powers that are key. Also, Harlequin's melee should have gone better. I think they could have killed at least 1 or 2 more Grey Knights. But in the end, I think Grey Knights still would have just trounced with those psychic powers. You may have missed the deployment phase and a little bit of the initial movement phase because I didn't start recording. But hey, here you are. At least I was able to get something. Oh, so many attempts. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a fabulous day, everybody.